Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Lakshmi Prasanna, along with our team Naveen and Vishwada. Today, we are here to give you some insights about science and superstitions with their difference and few case studies. And by the end of this presentation, I will be giving some introduction regarding science and superstitions, and later Naveen will be discussing about in detail about the superstitions and case studies, and uh, uh, and up to how much extent we can believe those superstitions. And later Vishwaja will be explaining about a few examples about science as well as superstitions. Coming to the introduction part, where we all know that science is something which is very realistic and which even makes the unreal things very real, and uh, and because of the science we are able to do some impossible things possible. On the other hand, superstitions is completely based on our beliefs, beliefs, and which is completely imaginary, where some things we can't even see with our eyes, and we won't have any scientific proofs. And at present, we are living in a scientific era of many discoveries and inventions, where we are able to make many impossible things possible with a blink of an eye using science. So, in this era, it should be a time where there is no place for the superstitions. But many people are believing something which is imaginary, which doesn't have any social proofs, and they are thinking that that is a real, and we can, of course, we can believe something, but not in such case where it will harm ourselves. So, for example, if you take an example of solar eclipse, where in ancient times our elders used to say that solar eclipse occurs when some dragon eats sun. So generally, if we think logically, so can a dragon eat sun? Will that dragon can appear there? No, right? But still, at that time, everyone used to believe that one. Even for the children, also they used to tell the same thing when the solar eclipse comes, and they used to say that we should not go out. If we go out, that dragon will eat us. So, but if you think in a logical way, in science way, it is solar eclipse occurs when sun positions in between the earth. Uh, sorry, sun positions in between the earth. Sorry, solar eclipse when moon is positioned in between earth and sun. So that is a science behind that one. But still, there are many people who believes that there's some dragon or something will come and eat sun. So that is not the case. And this is how the science and superstitions is differentiated. Now let us see some basic differences between science and superstitious. Where as I already mentioned that superstitious is completely depends on our belief on something, whereas science is completely about the experiments, our experimental knowledge. And for superstitious, there won't be any evidence. But coming to the science, there will be an evidence. As I mentioned about the solar eclipse, there is no evidence in case of superstitious. But coming to the science, we can the many experiments shows that why this solar eclipse occurs based on the science. And next, this superstitious is completely based on religious culture as well as the personal beliefs. And whereas science, it is completely depends on the experiments which is applied on something which we are believing. And this superstitious is completely characterized by our beliefs and our religions. Some people have some beliefs, but the other will have some other beliefs. They may not be same. But coming to the science, it completely depends on our knowledge and the experiments, which will be common for all the people, for all the beliefs or all the cultures. And these superstitions mainly like when we will believe something, when we have some fear of that, when we have a fear that some bad luck will happen to us, in that cases we will believe something. So these superstitions comes into existence at that time. Coming to the science, it is has already mentioned is completely an experimental thing. It is completely about proving some evidence. So, if you take an example of passing under a ladder, generally our elders used to say that we should not pass under the ladder, we should not walk under the ladder, and if we walk so, some bad luck will happen. But the science behind that is, if by chance if that ladder falls on us, we will get affected. So that is a reason. But they won't say this reason, but just they will believe that something bad will happen if we pass under the ladder. So that is not the case, right? So this is how the superstitious and science are differentiated, and the Navin will explain about superstitious in detail.
Thank you, Lakshmi. That was very insightful and informative too. So, as we have seen that Lakshmi has discussed about the definitions of superstition and science, where she told that superstition is a blind belief of some procedure. So, superstition doesn't have any proven report or some kind of proof where people directly follow superstitions just on accessing that particular belief. So, I would be discussing about why people do or why people believe such kind of superstitions in order to achieve that respective belief. So, I have categorized it into six types where the reasons are like people are generally inherited by their traditions and culture. So some people are born with superstitions as they inherit this respective belief from their parents or that particular culture. So if a child's parent believes in superstition, then it becomes highly possible that even the child believes almost those particular superstitions. So it also depends on the place where the child is born and also raised in. So for instance, if you are born in China, you may find breaking a mirror brings bad luck. But however, in our country, which is India, many people believe that if a mirror is broken by accident, then it signifies some good luck achieving to yourself. So, and this second reason would be particularly to turn fear into objects. So, some people have these unbearable fears in their life that they want to release somehow, but they won't try to unable. They are quite unable to do it. So, in order to release those fears, they try to convert them into respective objects to feel free about the respective fears. So that's why they start believing in these superstitions. So, for instance, if a person may start believing in ghosts, uh, if he fears that his future is respective to a lot of problems. So, in this way, he tries to deliver some of his fears with respect to ghosts. And in this way, he might reduce the fears with respect to his future problems. And the third reason would be to feel in control with respect to their behavior. So people believe in superstitious just because they give them more feelings of control and also feel more secure after having faith in them. So these type of people attribute the bad events that may include crossing a stray cat before you, before you just pass by it. So or passing by a ladder, which was explained by Lakshmi earlier. And this makes themselves that they believe that in such kind of superstitions, they might not achieve their goals if a black cat passes by, as you've seen in the picture. So this comes under the feeling to feel in a better control of the respective situation. And another reason would be the historical as well as religious beliefs. So few people are very deep rooted with religious and moral values that they were taught right from their childhood. So, for instance, most of the Christians consider 13 number as unlucky because it depicts one of the Christian official or the Christians who have this 13th person to join the Jesus table during their Last Supper. And that's when Jesus got hanged during that century. So they believe that this 13 number is an unlucky number. And also Muslims believe their lucky number to be 786 because it depicts that the total numerological value of the Quran expresses to Bismillah al Rahman al Rahim. So they believe that 786 is a lucky number. So these are kind of superstitions uh, which are without having any proof. People do believe. And the another reason would be placebo effect. which actually strengthens these beliefs. So placebo effect is something that make a person believe that human brain is able to fulfill a specific prophecy that is based on a particular belief. So basically, it says that whenever few people are given a medicine, this is an example where they are tested for the effect of that medicine. People are tuned towards the process, and without even having medicine into their body, they feel a lot of change in it. And they say that the medicine has impacted a lot of changes in their body. So these kind of information is called placebo effect. So now I would like to move to the next slide where I would express a case study. So there are many cases in our India which have a huge impact in people's lives with respect to a lot of changes in their life by following these superstitions. And one of the case study is the recent AP double murder case. So it's basically that parents have killed their two daughters in order to in a belief that they could revive them in a purer form. So I would like to introduce this case study by telling that parents are actually well educated. One of their parents is a principal of a school, as well as their mother is a well educated mathematician. So even the children are well educated and fall under the young age. So this case is on recent case where one of their child has went to a trip, and after coming from that trip she behaved abnormally. So all as these parents are have belief on this spiritual as well as faith on their religious beliefs, though, so they thought that some ghost or evil has took place in their child's body, and they tried to remove it by doing some black magic kind of spiritual practices. So they ended up killing their children in a delusion, in that false belief that if they kill them, they would try to revive them in a purer form where the evil will leave the body. So this says a situation that they have crossed the boundaries of faith, as well as they have the thought of controlling the natural things like death and birth, which aren't to be taken to human hands because it's a natural thing. So this shows the lack of knowledge as well as scientific logic with respect to believing the superstitions. Now, I would like to explain about the numbers that shows the existence of superstitions. So this has been taken from the Times of India report according to 2016. So in this, the percentage shows that part of the religion, which follows the superstitions, is 13%, and 39 percentage of people follow superstitions on the basis of their culture as well as tradition. And for about 20% of the population believe superstitions which were practiced by adults, and the superstitions which are practiced by others fall under about 6%. And people who don't believe these superstitions are just 22% in our country. So superstitions are usually attributed to a lack of education. But in India, even educated people have also been observed following these beliefs and superstitions in a huge percentage, as we have seen from the report. And according to 2017 census, for about 74% of the population, overall, India believes in superstitions. So believing in superstitions without having proofs would lead to some serious effects, which will be now covered by Vishwaja in detail. Vishwaja, over to you.
Thank you, Navin. So, in addition to what Lakshmi Prasanna and Navin said, so I would like to talk about what are the what will be the impact of believing the superstitious beliefs. So, firstly, I would like to talk about the level of beliefs and practices. So, the level of practices and beliefs will vary from one region to other region. Like as India has many regions and they have many different religions, so each of they have their own specific beliefs. So, if we talk about the practices, the level of practice can range from harmless Nimbu and Chile hanging to serious concerns like practicing black magic and human sacrifices. So, according to the next point is according to the National Crime Records Bureau, more than 2,000 witchcraft motivated murders were recorded uh, from the past 10 years. And the main thing is that most of the victims here are women. And they also say that there are also some missing cases which are hiding from the reality, and they say that only the most horrifying cases are reported. And the next point is the bureau also have separate data that is recorded regarding human sacrifices. They say that almost 50% 50% are reported every year under human sacrifice cases. Human sacrifice is people sacrifice their lives to some other in the name of god. The main thing here to notice is that most of the victims under human sacrifice are minors. Uh, Now going to the next slide. As I said, with the large number of religions, India has a large number of religions, and that is leading to large number of and different kinds of superstitions. So in India, like uh, from the childhood, we have grown up listening to many superstitions that are passing from the one generation to another, and we are following them blindly without actually knowing the scientific and logical reasons behind them. So I would like to take this platform as an opportunity and talk about a few examples and explain what are the logical or scientific reasons behind them. So first one is bathing after attending a funeral ceremony. Like earlier days, bathing was necessary after attending any funeral. It's because in the earlier days, the ancestors did not have any vaccinations against smallpox and other deadly diseases. So they came up with a ritual, this kind of ritual of bathing, so as to prevent themselves from the infections that can be caused from the dead body. But I feel that this should not be considered as a ritual today, but this can be followed for the further good. The second one is menstruating women. They are considered impure and unclean, and they even they are not allowed inside the temples and other religious spots. So it's because in the menstruation period, women lose a lot of blood, so they may comparatively become weak. So that's why the ancestors are decided they given complete rest to them. Moreover, in the ancient days, the god idols are built of stones, and they form a certain equilibrium with the atmosphere, and the woman in the in her menstruation period releases a lot of heat, and that heat may disturb the natural equilibrium of the environment. So that's why they are not allowed inside the temple. Breaking of natural equilibrium will may actually result in cracking of the god's idols. So next one is twitching of eye is considered as inauspicious. It's because they twitching of eye is considered as they may bring a good luck or bad luck. That will depend on the culture and the gender. So people believe that eye twitching is the nature's warning signal for a person, something bad can happen, like bad will happen. So, but according to the science, eye twitching is considered as it is considered as a common condition. So next example is lizard falling on human. Uh, that is considered as a bad luck. The main scientific reason behind this is that lizards release poisonous chemicals from their body in order to protect them from the enemies. So in that case, if the lizard fall on human body or food, that may get contaminated. So that's why taking a bath after it's fall on someone after its fall is necessary. And the next, going to next slide. So there are also few examples like throwing coins in fountains and rivers. So that brings good luck. The actual reason is that in the ancient times, the coins were copper, and throwing them into the rivers will will what like like throwing them into the like throwing copper coins into the rivers will clean the water. So it's because the copper has some anti microbial like anti properties, so that can kill in like infection causing bacteria. The thing is that this kind of superstition brought more pollution than good luck. It's because we are not using copper coins now. So next one is using lemons and green chilies to avoid buri nazar, like negative vibes. So actually this lemon and chilies will release some vitamins which will actually keep away the insects. So that's why our ancestors used this symbol as a like this symbol during some other ceremonies, which now people are using it to protect from the Buri Nazar. And the next one is ghosts residing in people trees. This myth is even prevailing today. It's like what do you call, the scientific reason behind this is that the generally the trees take oxygen, they release carbon dioxide during the night time. So that's why if we sleep under the tree, that carbon dioxide may the level of that carbon dioxide may feel as heavy, and people now considering that as a possessed by some spirits. The next one, the last one is don't cut nails of the sunset. Uh, okay, can you go to the previous? Yeah. So previous slide. Yeah. So cutting of nails of the sunset is not considered to be good. It's because the nail cutter may be sharp, and we may cut our nails we may cut our nails in the absence of light. So coming to conclusion, uh, like we saw what are the differences between superstitions and science. So generally, the science and superstitions are they are two sides of the same coin, though they are somewhat interdependent. Science completes superstitions in the same way reasons complete the assumptions. Uh, like every person should know that they what do we call, like believing some of the superstitious beliefs may not cause inconvenience in our day to day lives, but they might get troublesome when a person gets under the spell of superstitions and end up doing something harmful to him or others. So knowing reasons behind each and every superstition can provide awareness about what people should believe, like a person should believe in superstition or not, and the person should be aware before believing it. The person should be aware before it starts creating a negative impact on his life. Thank you. And these are the references.
Okay, now
Okay,
we can
so
start.
feedback. Yeah. So starting with the introduction, I really like that you came up with the differences between science and superstition at the very beginning in the introduction, which clearly draws our opinion towards science versus superstition. And things where you can improve is that you have used coming to too many times. I think Ron sir has already addressed this. So and also I did not feel that you have gave enough pump for such kind of in the introduction. So maybe if you would have involved audience asking some kind of questions, that would be more interactive. Yeah, rest all it was great.
I will try to include that tomorrow.
Yeah,
And my feedback for Lakshmi is that you had a good introductory section, but like I liked the way you explained the differences by making use of examples. And I felt that you would have more like given more content regarding like more formal content regarding science and superstitions.
Okay.
Overall it was good, and you need to put some more effort and energy while speaking. Yeah.
Sure, sure. I will try to include.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, coming to next middle part, Naveen. Yeah, you have very distinct content, like you have explained about all the different things in superstitious and the case study. Everything was good, and but the only thing is, as I already mentioned in the last presentation, body language, like a bit. The of course today you have improved comparing to the last week, but just try to improve more. And I think while you are explaining the case study, like in the starting itself, we got confused. I don't know that it might be because of like you're out of time or something,
yeah,
but just try to avoid that. Other than that, everything is fine. The way you explain and the
sure.
points are very nice.
I'll correct them. Thank you.
Yeah, in addition to what Lakshmi said, like I also felt that in the time of explaining the case study, you got like stuck and you started talking slowly, and like the way you presented each and every your content was actually good, and also keep track of time. That's it.
I'll work on it. Thank you.
Yeah. Next, the conclusion part. Ishkaja, the strengths in your party, uh, you have very like a very strong content. You're explaining each and everything in very detail. But in the presentations, you have to look after the time also, right? So just keep that in mind and explain the things. Except that everything is fine. In between, you have like you got stuck. That might be because of time, but if you manage that, I think it will be reduced.
Okay.
Yeah, adding to what Lakshmi said, your content was good. Like it has a lot of detailed explanation with respect to the content you have on the slides. But parts where you can improve is that you are using live filler uh,
Okay.
in your speech. Even in this feedback, I observed it. So maybe you can reduce such kind of fillers and work on the speech or tone. Rest of us. And the last part is the conclusion slide. You left it blank. Uh, so maybe if you have added some bullet points with respect to summarizing our whole topic, would be great to watch from audience perspective.
Okay, I'll
Yeah.
do it. Yeah.
Even while concluding, also just try to conclude it in a better way. Like
Mhm.
you got confused, right? So
Yeah, I just realized that I crossed
yeah,
the limit. Yeah.
yeah.
It happens, yeah. So let's make these changes by tomorrow.
Okay.